Howdy folks, Justin here with Texas Recland Real Estate, and today we're going to discuss property corners. I brought you out to the woods here today. This is the back of my property, and we're actually going to go find one of my property corners so you can know what to look for if you want to go out and find your own property corners on your property or a property that you're looking to buy. So what is a property corner? Well, in Texas at least, it's going to be a 1/2-inch iron rod, like a rebar, 1 foot in length, driven down into the ground. Okay, and it's going to generally be flush with the ground, and there is going to be flagging on the rod. Now, what color flagging? That really depends, but kind of the industry standard is pink in Texas. So you're going to see a lot of pink. Sometimes you're going to see orange, and sometimes you're going to see blue or any other color, but for the most part, you're going to look for pink flagging. And we'll see, but I think there's pink flagging on my pin that we'll go look at here in a minute or so. It's not always going to be a 1/2-inch iron rod. If it's an older survey or an older property, it could be an iron pipe, maybe 1 inch or a 1/2 inch in diameter. It could also be an axle from an old car, or a railroad spike, or any number of things that driven into the ground that can be readily identified. It could also be a fence post. So you really have to examine your deed, because in that deed, if you have a meets and bounds description of your property, the corners are going to be called for, and usually it's going to tell you what to look for at each corner. Or if you have a platted lot or a survey on hand, there's going to be a symbol at each corner on the survey, and there's going to be a key, and it'll tell you what each symbol means. So is it a railroad spike? Is it a 1/2-inch iron rod? Is it the pipe? Is it a fence post? Is it a tree? They could call for an 18-inch live oak, and at the time of the survey it was an 18-inch live oak. It might be a 24-inch live oak now. So those are all things to keep in mind when you're looking for your property corners. Sometimes the corners are not right up there on the top. You're going to have to dig a little bit. Now, where I live in the hill country, it's very rocky, so a lot of the property corners are either at the top or sticking out a little bit. If your corner is a 1/2-inch iron rod and it was surveyed relatively recently, a lot of times there's going to be a plastic cap. Looks like this. This one's a little beat up, but you get the idea. And that plastic cap is going to be sitting on top of the iron rod, and it's going to have, and this one has, in fact, the RPLS number of the surveyor that last surveyed your property, or set that rod, I should say. It doesn't mean he last surveyed the property, but he surveyed the property and set that property corner. Now, it doesn't have to have an RPLS number. It could have a company name, so that you can go back and you can look up, hopefully look up on the board website who surveyed that property, if you don't know, and then maybe you can track down a copy of your survey. Because remember, in Texas, surveys are not recorded with the county clerk. So if you get your property surveyed, that's your property, and it's not of public record unless we're talking about a recorded plat for a subdivision. So I'm going to put you on a brief hold, and we're going to go over and take a look at what my property corner looks like. Okay, so we're coming over to where my property corner is. So you can see it's marked by T-post, and then it looks like the last surveyor placed a wooden lath here, and there was flagging on that lath, that pink that you can see. So this flagging was on the lath, and here's the property corner. It looks like it's an aluminum cap, not a plastic cap, and it was set on top of a rebar. And there's orange flagging, in this case wrapped around the rod, and here's some older orange flagging that was that was marking the corner before the last survey. So that's what a property corner looks like. Using a metal detector can help if you're trying to locate the corner on your own. Using landmarks help. If you can see here, it's hard to tell. There's an old fence line that runs along the back of my property. And that fence line was the original fence line back when this was a very large ranch, back in the late 1800s. Now, it's not always that easy to recover property corners. I obviously knew where my property corner was. I've recovered all of my property corners and I know where each one is at. If you haven't ever been to your property corners, or you haven't been there for a long time, it's not always as easy as just walking right up onto a property corner. If you need to get a surveyor to go recover your corners or reset any corners that might be missing, they're going to charge a fee, and it's not always inexpensive. They can't just go out and find one pin or two pins that you're looking for. They have to go out and find multiple pins and make sure that those corners all match with each other and match with the recorded deed or the recorded plat to make sure that they're verifying and certifying to the correct boundary. I hope this video was helpful. I'm going to do a future video on property lines, and it'll kind of pick up where we left off here with the property corner video, and it'll show how to identify your property lines, especially on property lines where you cannot see between corner to corner, and you're going through hundreds, sometimes thousands of feet of real thick woods. That's going to wrap up this short video on property corners. Again, my name is Justin with Texas Rec Land Real Estate. If you're looking to buy or sell land in the Central Texas area, give me a call, 512-704-3628. See you next time.